Today we're going to look at changing the battery in the key fob and how to disassemble it so you could potentially change the plastic casing on the key fob. And we're also going to look at how to use the actual physical key that's inside the fob. I'm doing this after I already made my video because the video turned out differently than I thought it would. So a lot of, I don't know, it's kind of disjointed. Below I'll put in the timestamps of where different parts of the video start, and hopefully that's helpful. This is one of my favorite accessories for the Porsche keys. It's just a little Alcantara key pouch. You can buy it from your Porsche dealership, you can buy it online. You don't have to undo this little belt looking thing here to get it out of the pouch. If you want to access your key or change your battery, you can actually slide this right through. And there you go. Now I'm not gonna say this is a huge complaint, but I am gonna show you that with 2,547 miles and 5 months of ownership of this car, my ignition key battery is already low. When you get in and turn the car will use the profile associated with that key. So when I turn this on with this key, my profile is recognized. And that information that's saved includes things like mirror settings, the seating position, preferences here on the infotainment system, and of course my preferences based on how I configured the individual drive setting over here. There's a bunch of cool stuff that we can do with this fob, like we can replace the battery. We can pull out the physical key, we can pull off the plastic sides, and we can replace those with something a little sexier than black plastic. So let's go through the panic button. Let's press that. Wow. Okay, that works. To replace the battery, we're going to need these. This is a CR2032. These have the new child secure bitter coating. I've never seen that before, but I think that that's a great idea. And I'm not gonna lie to you, part of me wants to pull one of these out and lick it. I'll do that later off camera. The first step is to remove the physical key here, and we do that by pushing up on this. And if you can do what I just did with your thumb, way to go, more power to you. The next step is just to pry these two halves apart, and I have this little screwdriver here. It's just gonna go right up in here. And then I'm gonna pry this apart. And that'll slide this half off, lift that off. Like that. And this gives you access to your battery compartment. And you can see right there, it says open. So you just twist this. Once the compartment's opened, that falls out, and then you can remove the battery. The battery has the plus side up. Then we just take our new battery, positive side up, we place this back onto the key fob, rotate it back into the closed position, and we're back in business. And that is how you change the battery inside of the 992 key fob. Since we have these two plastic trim pieces off of the key fob, this is also something interesting. A lot of people have speculated it's some type of a warning, or it's some type of a process indicating the car is going through a cool down or a preheat cycle. Some people think that it's a nice feature that the key fob blinks because it helps you find it on the ground in case you drop it. Why don't you tell me what you guys think it is in the comments? If you're gonna replace the trim components on your key fob, they're pretty easy to take off, and you can replace them with different color trim. I didn't get my trim pieces matched to my Sport Classic Gray because that was not an option at the time that I bought this vehicle. There's kind of a close-up so you can see how that piece clips on. What do you do with this physical key? Obviously, there's no place to put it into the ignition. With the Porsche entry and drive system, you don't really have the option of replacing the standard dummy key with an upgrade. I made a video with my 991 showing how to pull the old dummy key out and replace it with an upgrade. This one does not come out. You don't pull this out. You don't put your key into the ignition in this car. For all intents and purposes, this is simply an ignition button, but instead of pushing it, you turn it. I had said that it wasn't replaceable, and it's not. It's not typically, but I did talk to Daniel over at TCarbon, and he showed me this. So they are working on a carbon fiber replacement for this plug. And maybe some other manufacturers will come out with something too, I don't know, but it is possible to replace this with some custom work. This physical key actually fits into a keyhole located underneath the door. There it is. You do not have to remove the handle. All you have to do is lift the handle up and then one step higher, and the key will fit into this hole, and you can rotate it and open the door. So if all has gone well here, we should turn this on. So now it just says, hello cam, ignition key battery low. I will admit, I did not expect to see a low battery warning with a brand new battery. Unless I put the old battery back in, I don't know, let's go check. No, definitely not. That's a Panasonic and these are Duracell. So I have put a brand new battery into my key fob and I'm still getting a low battery warning. So for the sake of science, I decided I would test these little button cells. This is actually the one that came out of the key fob when it was first giving the warning. This is one of the new Duracells that I bought. Also good. So the battery issue with this fob is probably not actually the battery, it's probably the fob itself. Also, I'll mention the low battery warning was there before I changed the trim out on the ignition, so I don't think that that caused it. And the second key fob does not have that same error. So I think we can definitively conclude that there is some problem with this key fob. I had an issue where even after I put in the new batteries, the key fob was still showing a low battery message on the dash. And what I did, and I don't know if this makes any difference, I read this on the internet. The internet's never lied to me before, so I don't see why it wouldn't be the truth, but I held the lock button for about 5 seconds, the unlock button for 5 seconds, and then the issue seemed to go away. I don't know if that performed some kind of a battery reset, although again, I did test my old battery and it didn't seem to have a problem. Regardless, the issue has gone away now and the key fob seems to work just fine. I don't get the low battery message anymore. I talked about how easy it would be to replace these plastic cover pieces with something cooler, and instead of just talking about it, I decided to do it. I talked to Daniel at TCarbon and they don't make a key fob cover in carbon fiber, but I did find a company, TCarbon, that does. So I'm gonna open this box up and we're gonna replace the plastic parts on this with these carbon fiber parts. I have heard there is the potential for signal interference with something like this, but I am willing to take my chances because I love carbon fiber so much. So these pieces are 100% carbon fiber. They're not molded around or on top of the original plastic piece. These are all carbon fiber. Piece to piece there. Those look pretty sexy. This is obviously not the interior type carbon, it's more of an exterior carbon, and it is gloss, not matte. This is, as far as I know, the only finish that this particular key fob cover comes in. With the old, in with the new, good start. So this is back together. This is a really cool upgrade. No question about it. In fact, this upgrade's so cool, it kind of makes me not want to put it back inside its little case. Let's make sure that this still works. We'll make sure we can start it. I will put this in my pocket. All good there. I don't see that it causes any kind of signal interference. Here is the information if you want to order your own. They do not sponsor me. I bought this myself. Really, really like this. Really do. That's going to do it for this video. If you have any questions about this fob, let me know. We're not going to talk anymore about the red light. It's going to stay a mystery. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.